What up, guys? Welcome to Base Damage, and this week we are finally getting into the AoT second booster review. But joining me today is, as always, the super fabulous WaifuWars. What's up, bro?
What's up? What's up?
How's it going, bro?
It's going good.
It's going good. We're trying to go ahead and get this because he's got a hot date. I'm just kidding. No,
Great day for a date, Beanley.
I was gonna say, did the plugging on Christian Mingle finally work out, or?
Yes.
No.
People have been watching your videos, and I've just been getting hit on.
So just Base Damage, establishes good relationships like that. We also have Frank. What's up, bro?
Hey
man. First time caller, a long time listener. What? I'm just kidding. How's it going today, dude?
Pretty good. Came back from work and just chilling.
Gotcha, dude. I know you had said earlier this week you were feeling a little sick, so I'm glad you're feeling better now. So with this, we're going to be trying to get this done in a fairly timely manner. I hope that I have stuff organized a little better than usual. But with this, we finally get the second Attack on Titan booster, which we got at essentially the same time as Japan. So, a couple things to go ahead and mention first. There's only been one errata posted on the English Weiss site, and I'm not going to use the English Weiss site for this. I'm going to use Heart of the Cards like always, because honestly, better translations. They don't have to worry about anything being errated off of the Japanese effect like we do for some other sets. There's a Hanji that the name was misspelled, and supposedly, Bentley had mentioned it earlier, there's supposed to be an Aaron that has a weird effect. You said it was one of the Titan Aaron's effects is...
Yeah, for the English one.
For the English one got errated, so when that comes up, or if it comes up by the next podcast that we do, I'll mention it and post up a picture of it or something of that nature. But when we checked earlier, it hadn't been posted just yet. So, just kind of throwing this out there that there probably is going to be something that's not the exact same. If it's this, we're going to be going over the card. I think I got it pulled up. But what else? Trying to think of anything else immediately. Next week we're going to try to continue the AoT discussion. For this week we're going to be doing yellow and green. So, for all you Hanji fans, or Armin fans, whichever you may be, we got next week will be the red and blue. Then there are a couple blue cards, the Titan stuff, because they're trying to make it so that the Titan effects work with more cards, like the Aarons and whatnot, than they did with the first set, because it seemed like Titan was basically its own thing. Aaron still had his Titan form in there, but it was very minimal interaction with the blue Titans prior to that. So they're trying to do a little bit more in there. And for anyone who has not watched the second season, spoiler alert, just throwing that out there now. But yeah, dude, Frank, you say you're a very passionate AoT player.
Yeah, I've been playing it ever since the first set came out, and always loved the series since I started watching it in 2014, and I was super hyped ever since when they announced it on the website back then. And I've been waiting for so long for Volume 2. We can finally play some new cards and more wombo combos.
Amen to that. You're caught up with the manga?
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on that.
No spoilers for this part, but supposedly they found out what's in the basement.
Oh, wow.
Supposedly that has happened recently. I am behind a couple chapters, so I have to get caught up myself. But someone mentioned, hey, they found out
it seems like the memes will finally be over.
Here's hoping. Depends on what the fuck's down there. But
it's Pennywise the clown.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Jesus. Pennywise the Titan.
That would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. Especially if they do that for a season 3. If somehow someone just overlays that meme on top of it, just be fucking great. Anyway, get to work on that right now. That would be Billy's gonna like send that to me later. Look what I made.
Uh-huh.
No, but yeah, I have played a little bit of the core, but that's been more recent. I actually ended up making the squad, the Levi squad deck, and been picking up a couple of the cards there because they were fairly cheap for a while. I primarily just played Mono Blue Titans just for the lulls of it because it was funny. Like I was like, why the fuck not? Can I just throw out a fucking 17,000 wall and just watch my opponent cry? So it was really funny, and I think I made the deck for like $20 like back like when it was cheap as fuck back then. So it has definitely gotten its money's worth in lulls. So I'm not saying it's bad in any way, shape, or form. I'm actually kind of excited to see some of the cards that they've given it for this second set for more Titan support. It was actually kind of cool, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So let's go ahead and start this off here. Obviously, we're going to try to go over like the double rares, the rares, and a couple other cards that we feel that need to be mentioned more so than others. Primarily, Frank, what build are you running right now?
Right now, I am playing red-yellow.
Red-yellow. So, sadly, the red cards will be in the next one after this, or try to be in the next one after this anyway. Bentley, I don't think you've ever told me you've run any Titan or any AoT decks ever, have you?
I've had the Mono Blue Titans, but like I feel like this like I like know I've played against Titans and like AoT in general as a set so much, and I've like lost to it, and I feel like this is like the best way to get know the set is to like actually.
That is true. This is actually an interesting podcast then, because that was one of the things you mentioned to me a while back when you won the Jacksonville regionals, and this just seems to be like a thing that's said quite a bit, is that you were running Two of Rue, and one of Two of Rue's hardest matchups is AoT.
Yeah, mobility here is pretty annoying.
Exactly, just on top of just so much crap, it's just like insane. So that's actually interesting, the fact that we have the TLR player and the AoT player on this as well. So we'll have to maybe in the future I'll have to have a podcast that's like a versus match of just people debating which set is better or something. I don't know, just be something crazy like that. Okay, so getting into this then, I'll just go over the first one that you had, because actually no, you said you wanted to mention this one because you said you wanted to trigger people with this.
Yeah.
Go for it, dude.
Yeah. So this card is just, unfortunately, I would have to say it's not a good card. I don't like it at all. Because the problem is that Mikasa from the first set, the pave the way to the future, Mikasa is just a better card because it's not stuck to just moving to the middle. It can move anywhere in the center stage. All you have to do is just mill a card. And plus with the new set now, the way that the synergy of red-yellow works, you want to actually mill cards, because with the new 1-0 Aaron, you're going to be grabbing back your mobility gear. So if you happen to mill like a mobility gear off of the Mikasa, that's actually better for you because you're just going to grab it back anyways. So
this is true. Oh yeah, because his we have that coming up in a second here, but yeah, it was a climax combo. And I wouldn't do that. So okay, yeah, no, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So
it's just like
this is kind of wasted on a double rare. Like I kind of agree.
Yeah, it feels more like a rare effect than anything.
So
yeah,
it's the fact
and
that
also,
it's go ahead.
It's weird seeing like 5 or more cards in hand, like to get powers, like whatever as well. Like I wish it was like stock at least. But.
Yeah, like this is probably best if you're going first and you only throw down one character anyway. But even beyond that, like Kantai had a runner that did exactly the same thing of moving to the front row center slot. Tanakaze, it was a fucking common, and I still don't think that's a good card, even though I want to say that's the only center stage runner. There's another runner that Kantai has that's blue. Like you pay one and it moves to back row. But you're paying the stock for it. So as far as like a non having to pay stock runner, that Tanakaze is the only other thing that Kantai has, and I never cared for it. So I'm like, I still look at this and go, This is kind of a waste, Bushiroad. I have to admit that this is not off to a good start.
I think another thing to notice is that like or at least in my meta at least, but like the JP meta, like if you're running AoT and JP, is like 3500 power isn't like sometimes big enough because some people are running like 4K oversizes as well.
Mm-hmm. So, easily. Like, I mean, shit, I had that in like what was it? There was a Titan promo. It was an Armored Titan that was a base 4K promo.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's easy stuff that could get over this, and it's, oh well, I know exactly where you're running to. Yeah, okay. If I really want to get rid of this, there's just umpteen things that I can do for it. So it's no problem. So
yeah.
Kind of.
And the worst part is that's also the SP.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. I was like, really?
Isn't it like the cheapest SP as well out of the set?
Are you kidding
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah,
they wasted an SP on this. I'm so
yeah. If it was like the Chatoge, that's like a bomb that runs to the middle, that it would have been better.
Oh my god.
I could agree with that.
Why, Bushi? Why?
I mean, I'll give them this. The art does look nice, but it definitely could have been a lot better.
Agreed. Like, okay, sure, fabulous pose as as his hair blows in the wind. What's that? I can't remember the name of the meme, but people did this with or it's like a little GIF of some dude singing "I say hey hey" or whatever that was. And it was Armin to it. So
I read that like some people are running this runner though because like it adds more yellow count to the one to one of the other Armins, but I feel like you already run enough yellow anyways where it's not. I'd rather still run the Mikasa runner over this,
especially how much you still have from the first set. So
yeah.
So sadly, not that good. So continuing on, this is the Aaron that you were talking about. So this is the Fate Shouldered Aaron. This is also a double rare. Level 1, 0 cost 45. When it attacks, it gains X power, so 500 times your other characters with Aaron, Mikasa, or Armin in its name. So a whole full field becomes a 65. Climax combo with Roar of Anger. What climax is that? Or what is...
It's a wind trigger.
It's a wind trigger.
Oh, so 1k1 wind trigger. So you're looking at a minimum of 75 at least when you're attacking with this. Like I say like minimum, but that's like if you're doing it right type thing.
Yeah.
So... when the battle opponent becomes reversed, if you have the climax, you can choose, like you said, one of those anti-Titan 3D maneuver gear, which there is a new one added to this set as well, in addition to, it was like 2 different colors. There was a red and a yellow one. I know the yellow one is the most infamous one from the first set, but there's a red one that does...
Actually, those were the blades. The one that's the event at the level 2 red event. Yeah, those were the pairing blades. It kills a level 2 or lower.
Yeah,
that card was just bad.
It doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same title though, right?
Yeah, it's a completely different title. Okay. The only thing that it has the same thing is just anti-Titan gear. That's it.
Okay, so this is sharing a name with the original level 1 0 cost event from the first set though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can grab the new one that they have in this set or the old one, up to one of those in your waiting room, return it to your hand, and this gains the ability until the end of your opponent's next turn that when this is front attacked, you may return this to your hand. So you can just keep, like you were telling me before we started recording, that you can just keep spamming this over and over really efficiently, and just constantly have characters to be able to play, throw down, and just do stuff with. I like that kind of a loop.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic card. Yeah, I think personally me, because I represent my boy, because like my signature ever since I played AoT, my signature line has always been Aaron value, and I live up to that name. So when this card came out, I was like, I have to play this card. Like Bushiroad made this card just for me.
So, I hear you.
I personally think it's one of the best level 1s in the set, if not the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such like I love the fact that this effect is just so unique, and the fact that you can literally plus off of this card technically because you're grabbing back the mobility gear from the waiting room. And then on top of that, if they attack the card, it bounces back to your hand, so you're not losing any cards out of it.
You're not paying stock either, which is really good. So
yeah, you don't pay any costs, and then on top of that, the best part about it is, a lot of when it comes to Weiss, like a lot of decks that you face in competitive, a lot of them have reverse combos.
Mhm.
So if you play this card, your opponent's going to be negging because it's like they do their combo. It's like, okay, you bounce back their Aaron, they get nothing,
Mhm.
and they're at best going to have like at most like minimum like 2 to 3 cards in hand
Mhm.
by doing nothing.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
oh well, that's gone back down to 45. I can easily reverse this, and he goes, nope.
Pretty much, yeah.
Freaking
It's just-
awesome.
I think with this card, the nature of this card, it like definitely for English at least, I feel like AoT and SAO is now going to be like the top 2 decks, and like I feel like it really brought Bushiroad down as like a third place, not third, like out of the tier list, like top,
Yeah.
like the lowest of like compared to those 3. It's like it's like hard to get a reverse now with Mekon.
Yeah, like AOT's always been up there as one of those really high tier ones, and this stuff like this, minus the original Armin we mentioned, is the kind of stuff that just keeps pushing it forward type thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aaron be representing double rare though. So have fun pulling that. Anyone who's already seeing this going, oh my god, I want this.
On release day, I pulled 2 of him. I was so lucky.
Dude, that is nice.
Yeah.
Actually, question randomly. Does AOT have anything that's like Asana's Married Life, where when you play the climaxes, you can give bonus power?
I think unfortunately no.
Darn, that
They
would be
actually
so much
don't.
better.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I'll say this though. It is good that we do have the Global 1000 Aaron for Volume 1, which
Mhm.
has good synergy with the 1-0 Aaron, because then every turn, like, Aaron's going to get really huge, and he's going up to, like, between either 8k to, like, 10k each turn.
Easily. All right. So then the next one after that is Crimson Will Aaron. And if you want, Bentley, would you want to get this one?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a double R, 3/9K, 2 soul, level 3. And then when to play some hand of stage or by the effect of Ray of Light Aaron Titan, you may heal one basically.
Mhm.
And when it attacks, you have 2 more other core characters against 2 power for the turn. And then as a climax combo, you pay 1, ditch a card from your hand to the waiting room, and you put one of your characters from the stage into the waiting room. This ability activates up to 1 per turn. When this attacks, if Scream is in the climax zone, you may pay cost. If so, choose a Chasing Titan in your memory and put it in any slot on the stage.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and ask this then. Scream is what climax?
Bounce trigger? Right?
It's also a bounce trigger?
Man. I think it's actually a stock soul, I believe.
All right. I'm going to just go ahead and pull it up then. Looks like there are...
Yeah, because I believe it has like 2, it has double soul triggers, if I remember right.
Actually, it is a 1K one.
Oh, it is 1 trigger, okay.
I know they've been trying to add in more of like the 2K and a soul split to 2 characters. They've been trying to add in more of those cards. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as power, then... So, he can easily get up to like a 12 or so. So, that's really cool. One of the cards... basically, the card that it summons back is a Chasing Titan. So, it's one of the new Titan cards. So, this will get a throwback once we get to the blue cards when we mention Chasing Titan, because there were several of these new Aaron cards that work with Chasing Titan. One of the new events, you said, also ends up grabbing back the Chasing Titans in your memory. So these cards will get a throwback once we get back up to those. So a faux restander and being able to just have extra characters to swing and whatnot. Also the heal on play, always good. And the card that changes into this we'll get to in a sec as well. So it's Ray of Light Aaron Titan. So we'll get to that in a bit. So next is Ray of Light Armin. It's getting to the rares now. So if you want to, Frank, go ahead and grab this one.
Yeah. So this is a rare, and its effect is when this is placed from hand to stage. You may look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. If you reveal at least 1 card or more, you can choose up to 1 card that's either a yellow character or the mobility gear. Put it to your hand and then discard a card. Put the rest of the other cards that you looked at, put them in the waiting room, and then discard a card.
So the hand filtering, if you get like extra climaxes or whatever, is always good. I feel like probably need to go ahead and mention the new 3D dimensional movement gear, but we'll get to that. I know I have it pulled up, so we'll get to that in a bit. But it's one of the bigger things is they're wanting to be able to get these to be able to reuse or to be able to get the movement gears and use them over and over.
I think this is one of the cards that the set, like, it really helped them.
Yeah. I was glad that we finally got an Akatsuki, because I was just like, having some kind of Akatsuki effect would have been really helpful with AoT, because one problem with AoT of Volume 1 was that, like, the only way that the deck really plussed was really through Brainstormers, and that was about it.
Oh my god, I can't. I remember there was a Aaron Brainstormer that ended up being like $9 or $10 or something like that for a while.
Yeah.
Beyond the Walls.
Yeah, he's pretty much
Beyond
the
the
best
Walls?
card. Yeah.
Beyond the Walls, Aaron?
Yeah, he was basically the best card in the set. Well, the best Brainstormer in the set.
Gotcha. All right, so Armin coming through with some better effects than the level 0 before. This is one of the ones I actually pulled the other day, and I felt this one kind of needed a mention. Because this is comparable. This is kind of comparable to Machine of Ice Xenon from SAO. So this is rare. Level 2, 1 cost, 5k. Armin. More than likely, he's mostly going to be in the back. But he can change into the Resisting Fate Armin that is from the first set. Which, that Armin had a similar effect to the secondary effect, which is you can tap him, choose one of your core characters, and it gains the 2500 power, and until the end of the turn, it cannot be chosen as a target of your opponent's effects. The 3/2 Resisting Fate Armin was a back row that gave if I'm not mistaken, it gave what, a 2k buff or a 1k buff?
2K.
Yeah, it was a 2000. Yeah, 2000 in front, and it gave them hexproof. Well, it gave them the ability that they can't be chosen by card effects.
And then when you play him from hand to stage, you get to look at up to X cards equals to how many core characters you have in your field.
Oh yeah, it is from hand. So and this one and this one specifically does summon it from the hand, so that effect will trigger off of that. So this was just really cool. Just that face also is like really scary. Is that his right face or what?
In a way, yeah. Like, that's Armin coming out with this inner meme.
That's before that song starts where he's singing. So no.
Yeah.
It's like yes. That's literally just what it looks like. And okay, so this was really cool, and like obviously it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it does add just that little bit of extra stuff there. Also because it can change in, so that way the Resisting Fate Armin could come in at level 2. So that's really cool. So Bentley, would you kindly get this one?
Alright, Until Death Armin, that's a rare 3/2 10k, 2 soul. If you have 2 or more other core characters, it gains 1k power for the turn. So it gains 1k power constantly. So it's always going to be 11k. You can ditch a card from your hand to the ring. When it attacks, you may pay the cost. If so, choose one of your other characters, and that character gains 1 soul for the turn. And then it has the you have the damage scry effect. So when you take damage during your opponent's turn and you don't cancel, then you get to look at the top card and then leave it there or mill it.
You said
so it's like.
Frank, you said this was one of the ones you were going to be testing out and see how well this works.
Yeah, I thought this card was pretty interesting because when I looked at it, I was like, it's probably like whatever. And then I actually read the card thoroughly. I was like, okay, this is a pretty decent card. I was like, you have an effect that can possibly give you enough push for game later on, or you could just have it on the field to mitigate damage to be able to survive for for your next turn.
Yeah.
So I was like thinking, play it as a one of
Yeah, I've seen this effect on some characters before, but it's like only when it's just the character across from it. It's not like every single. This does for every single bit of damage every time you would take damage during your opponent's turn. It was one from Cinderella Girls, I want to say, where it just was like what the character across from it did. I probably misremembering that at this point. So that could be interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully it turns out pretty well, because again, I'm not too final, I'm not on final on if I will keep it or not, but hopefully it works out.
Yeah. Also, one of the useful things of this is can basically side if you need to poke for like exactly 1 or so at like level 3 or whatever. Just be able to give him that little bit of extra soul, and then try to like side for exactly 1.
The Mikasa, the new Mikasa as well too, the level 3. Like if you're like, I know the Mikasa burns on 1 on attack and then also 1 on reverse, but if they have like a compass or like a darkness plan, and you don't have like a 3/2 Armin to like give a hexproof, then like sometimes you can just like side and go for like exactly 1, and then they still have to deal with the 1 burn as well. I mean, it's like a fringe scenario where it's possible.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. So that'll be interesting. Let us know how that works out as the spicy tech.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is that Ray of Light Aaron Titan that comboed with this Aaron, right? Ray of Light.
That
Titan.
one,
Yeah. Okay. So Frank, if you want to grab this one.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So what this Aaron Titan does is, if you're able to like just scroll a little bit down.
Scroll right.
It's all good. Yeah. So this Aaron Titan, what it does is when it is placed from hand to stage, it gets 4,500 power, and it gets the fall ability until the end of the turn. During its combat, during its battle, neither player can play backups from hand. And then when this card is placed from hand to stage, you may choose a Crimson Wool Aaron in your waiting room and place it as a marker. And then its last effect is pay 1, put this in a waiting room. When this card is reversed in battle, you may pay the cost. If you do choose a card in your waiting room that was this card's marker, and put it rested in any slot from the stage.
All right.
Yeah. So he essentially just goes from his Titan form and it just goes back to human form, essentially.
So it doesn't actually get any buffs from just having the marker up there. It's just the fact that it can be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It helps you guarantee that you're going to be able to get the Crimson Wool Aaron's effect to be able to do the climax combo. It just makes it a little bit easier without having to like go out of your way to like dig through your deck.
Fair enough. Which is actually pretty cool considering you still get the heal if he's played by the effect of that. So that's actually really cool. Excuse me. All right. So basically he dies and comes back as Aaron, and he's like, I'm going to heal you more. So, okay.
Oh, and that actually reminds me. I actually completely forgot about this card. It didn't come to my mind because when I was thinking about yellow, I was thinking about in terms of like the cards that I was playing. Yeah. And I actually just remembered there's actually a 2/1 Aaron, I believe is a rare. It's to Seize Freedom Aaron. He actually changes into that Aaron Titan that grabs the Crimson Wool Aaron. Yeah, because his effect is if you frontal attack it, you can pay the cost, and then what you do is he turns into the Aaron Titan, and then you fight the Aaron Titan instead of him.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah. Basically, it's like with that Aaron card, like with well, in terms of like the Crimson Wool Aaron, the To Seize Freedom Aaron, and as well as the Single Ray of Light Aaron Titan, you basically essentially make a mono yellow Aaron Titan deck, essentially.
Okay. And then he has the Resonate with the Ray of Light Aaron to give him additional soul, which is still pretty good. Be able to go ahead and be doing that at level 2. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent card.
And it just lets you cycle through a whole bunch of different stuff. So, so if okay, so it's when it's placed on hand from to stage from hand, and this summons from hand. So okay, so you'd still be able to play this, and then put the Crimson Will Aaron still under as a marker if you happen to have like that in the waiting room and all that. That's just everything combo. You see how it all just fits together.
Yeah, it has a lot more synergy. Yeah, like that's what I love about this set. Like it's just like everything just has more synergy and just has more like just flow in terms of just like combos and like just cards in general. Because with Volume 1, its problem was that it was just very. I mean, and at the time, I mean, it's not really their fault. It was just kind of like in terms of like deck design, it was just kind of like Volume 1, you either play Titans or you play Core, and that was basically it.
Mm-hmm.
There's really nothing more to it. And it was just like, and then when it came to like, especially the climax combos with level 1s, like some of them were kind of like meh.
Mm-hmm.
Like with like the Levi squad basically being the best one.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else was just kind of like, it was just there.
Okay. All right. And then to round out the yellow cards is the new Anti-Titan gear. So it's the same name as the first one. So it is the same name exactly. Like, okay. So that means you actually have to be careful how many copies of it you'd have to put in the deck. As far as, because you can only have 4 copies of either one in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So,
so
that
you
is
do like
the
a
thing.
2/2 or 3/1.
Yeah. So that's still really good, but it's actually still really good effect regardless. So it's a 1/1 counter event as well. So always good to have them counter events. Choose one of your core characters in battle, return it to your hand, and then choose up to 1 character in your waiting room and return it to your hand, and then discard a card. So you get to hand fix quite a bit off of this, and then still just be able to like salvage on top of that. It's just like, it's really cool. So you end up discarding 2 cards because you play this, and then you discard another card in the end, but it completely and totally you're get your hand back to the same count. So you end up discarding 2, but you get back 2 regardless. So that's still really cool. And this is also, once again, another way to stop the on reverse effects between the Aaron bouncing back to the hand, between the other omnidirectional movement gear moves to an open position of the stage. So just a whole bunch of them just keeping their on reverse effects from going off is just so good.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I think like this card's preference is like it's either you want to play you want to pay 1 stock or you just want to pay no stock or whatever. So I mean they're both good effects.
The other one also has the effect of you can search the deck, and then you have to discard a card after you add a core character from deck to hand. So in the end, you're getting almost the same value to a degree, but like you said, one is pay stock, one is pay no stock. So player preference.
It's technically less damage from your deck as well if you do the 1/0.
Well, actually, we'll get your opinion on this, Frank. Which do you prefer of those 2 events? Which would you prefer to run more of?
As of right now, I'm doing a 2-2 ratio, so I'm doing 2 of the new one and 2 of the old one right now.
Okay.
It is pretty difficult because just both of them, the amount of value both of them give you in terms of denying certain effects from the opponent is just very potent. And it's really good. In terms of like which one's better in the long run, I think I might have to go with the new one because the fact that you just bounce a character back, just like it just completely shuts down whatever the opponent does. Because like if your opponent has like let's say like three clock shooters or something, like if you like use the original mobility gear and you run, you could still like potentially like lock your back row, and you have to be forced to face like another clock shooter, and you're just delaying the effect. Whereas this card, if you play it, you bounce back the character, and you basically just deny the effect completely altogether.
Yeah, you could have a full field with this one, as opposed to the other one. You have to have an open space. Thing. So,
and you can do like also shenanigans with like if you want to like bounce one of another lane that's going to be attacked or whatever, and if your opponent's going to overswing, so you have like a better chance of canceling as well.
Well, this says in battle, so that's the
it's in battle. My bad.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. I just wanted to double check that real quick. So basically, is whatever the one you use this on is the one that you end up having to bounce back, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. The only like real trade-off, which is it's not too much of a big deal. The only trade-off with this card is that you can't actually just play it off your hand. Because the original mobility gear, you can actually just play it and just search out of your deck. While this card, you have to actually, it has to be during combat.
So, either way, like, I can understand trying to do the 2-2 split. So that'll be interesting in the long run. Let us know how that one goes as well, as far as if you decide to change the ratio up later. Send in your decks on Rogue Deck Reviews, and we'll post but that essentially rounds out the yellow cards. Like for the climaxes, they ended up doing like a couple different alternate arts of stuff. Each of them have like a different alternate art, which I thought was really cool for the new Titan stuff as well.
Yeah,
So,
that's a foil version. Alternate art is.
mm,
Oh yeah. I also like to mention that like this past week, like everybody's been like, because apparently there was like some posts on one of the community posts in the Facebook. There, like everybody was making this joke about like, Frank, you should play 5 mobility gears. I was like, I wish I could.
it's like, see if the opponent calls you
I
out on
suck
it.
mobility gear out into Prussia.
That'd be crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Everybody keep track of how many your opponent plays. Just saying. But getting into the green cards, you said you told me that the name for the Quiet Passion Levi was like what, Silent Fury?
Yeah, it was like Silent Fury. Yeah, like they like did like a little slight twist on some of the on the names during the translation.
I'm just gonna replace it right now with Resting Bitch Face, but that's whatever. Kidding. Okay, but that's where we're gonna start at. Actually, is with the new level 3 Levi for the green cards. So, I got the last one. So with the mobility gear. So Bentley, do you want to get this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Quiet Passion Levi, double R, 3/2, 9500 power, 2 soul. If there are 2 or fewer climax in your climax zone, it gets -1 level in your hand, so it's an early drop. If you have 2 or more other core characters, it gains 1k power, so it's always going to be a 10/5 basically, and then it's a heal on play.
This is worded weirdly. It says in your climax zone.
Oh yeah, you're right.
No, this is supposed to say waiting room.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is totally supposed to say waiting room, but this is one of the very few times Heart of the Cards has given me the wrong thing. I'm going, you can only have 1 in your climax zone. Wait a minute, what the fuck?
Wait, there's another type.
That might be the secret meta.
Like if you look at Connie, whatever, like for the list of the cards, there's one that has like the correct name, and there's one with just 1 N for Connie.
For real? Oh, what's he? Is he yellow?
Yeah, if you scroll down.
Yeah, he's yellow.
Like there's one that's.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, there it is. Until Death, Connie.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's to me that's a letter off. Like the card probably actually has the correct thing, but as far as like what's written up here, I've never actually seen something be this wrong. This is funny.
Yeah.
Granted, the early play heals are always pretty cool, and the whole thing of 2 or more core characters, you're almost guaranteed to get this. So it's really cool. Almost guaranteed like a constant 10/5, if not bigger. So
yeah.
Early plays are always
I believe
good.
Green didn't have an early drop from the first set as well, right? So it's like.
Yeah, there was a early play Aaron. It's actually the Resisting Fate Aaron, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then existing Mikasa with the change.
Oh yeah, she had a change.
Yeah.
The Aaron had one where it was I don't remember the thing if it was
Level 3.
Yeah, if you play level 3 or higher, or if they have a level 3 or higher on the
Yeah,
field, then you can
if your
early
opponent
play
had
it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he still had like a Musashi-esque effect of the cancel burn or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
burn
Because
one.
can't burn.
Yeah. So that's cool. Trying to move right along here. The next is the To Seize Freedom Hanji. Frank, go ahead and if you would grab this one.
Yeah, so here we go. So the 3/2 Hanji, its effect is when this is placed from hand to stage, you can draw up to 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and then put a card from top of your deck to your stock. And then when this card attacks, you may pay the cost, so it's pay 1 stock. And if you do, choose one of your other characters and this card, and they gain 1500 power until the end of the turn. And then its climax combo is with the gold bar. It's a standby for full assault. So when the battle opponent becomes reversed, if all stations prepared for battle is in your climax, put that character in the clock. So it's essentially a clock shooter.
Yeah.
Which I know we were saying beforehand. AoT really didn't have any clock shooters, if I'm not mistaken. Levi, they had the Levi that was like a faux restand. The fact that this essentially the hand filtering is kind of whatever. It pays essentially half of its own cost, and then in the end, it pays for its own ability, which is really cool to me. Sure, it's a blind stock, but you're more than likely just automatically going to be able to see what it is anyway and just go ahead and get it out. So it's whatever. And then you said it's a gold bar, so everybody's got to love the gold bars. If Zek and Yuki has taught us anything.
Or Kagi.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's
true.
actually neat. Like the second effect's really good because then it kind of plays off really well with multiple copies of itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if you're able to play 2 or 3 copies, like you can just like use this ability and like just make them really super beefy to just like guarantee the clock shoot.
Oh, absolutely. The fact that you end up only having to technically pay 1 stock in the end, like you have to pay 2 to initially play it, sure, but if you have enough stock, you can play a lot of these for really cheap because you're consistently getting back that stock over and over. So, like you said, be able to off of multiple ones of those, eventually get like a single one at the very end really big, and then just ensure the clock shoots across the stage is just really nice like that. So with just that alone, yeah,
for the climax as well.
So you end up, she basically, with off of her own effect and the climax is like a 12-5. So that's already really good. Assuming your opponent has characters. I've been in that position before where, oh, look, I have all these clock shooters and my opponent just rammed every single one of their level 1s. Fuck.
Yeah.
Or level 0s or whatever. You know, some people do that. It's whatever. I actually have had someone do that where they don't even play level 0s after that. They know that I've like searched out my clock shooters and they'll just purposely throw down 0s and just ram with those. And I'm like, okay. So, anywho, that's really cool. Kyle actually ended up pulling one of those, so we're going to have one of those posted up on the TCG Player account if anybody wants to check it out. I was saying just, it's going to be in the link, just in the description. Anyway, so the next rare we have is Until Death Hanji. Is a 00500. So this actually also plays back into cards from the original set. First off, it's a global 5 to all your core characters. When you play it, you have to top check. If it's a climax card, you rest her. But she has a bond with Resisting Fate Levi. So you just when you play her, you just pay 1 stock, and then you can get back Resisting Fate Levi from the waiting room. So that's really good. And Resisting Fate Levi was actually one of those that the price had gone down recently, but like when it was in full force, it was easily like a $20 card, I want to say. So it was definitely one that I remember seeing played a whole bunch. Like granted, AoT had a whole bunch of different combinations, sure. So this is just really good if you still have those cards and you want to try being able to get your Resisting Fate Levi's easier. So that's always really good. And everybody loves
my
the
only
global
downside with this card is that it dies to Kaiki.
It dies to because we totally have to worry about that at the Atlanta Regionals, right? So, I mean, shit. What was it? He reduces a character by 1,000.
500.
There's 500.
Yeah, but it's anywhere on the field. But it's only on play though.
Yeah, but what's the one I'm thinking that's 1,000? I know there's like Winged Slayer, but that's like minus 3,000 all your opponent's characters.
Well, you're thinking of Levy from the first set, but he only targets front row though.
You're right. I forgot he only did front row then. It was where he was like posing all fabulously sitting in the chair. I can't remember what the name of the fucking card was. Yeah, that was another one of those ones that was like very like up there in price. So yeah, okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of. So okay, that's still really cool. Here's one of the other, essentially, like you said, there are other Winter Moment Akatsuki type thing. Just like the other Armin, but this is just for green characters. Did they end up having one basically for each color?
I think it was just mainly yellow and green. I don't think red didn't get one.
Okay. We'll confirm this further in the part 2 of this, but just kind of showing this real quick, just to show that they essentially have an additional Winter Moment Akatsuki S effect. So that's still really cool in the end. I think same power as the Armin.
No, because Armin's is a 1-0, so he's at 5K, and then this one's a 0, which it's at 2,500.
Okay.
But I mean, with the fact that it's a 0, like 0 and look up to cards, it's still really good.
Yeah, you be able to set up your stuff.
Mention about these effects is that you don't have to ditch a card first as well. I mean, if you do use the effect, though, you do have to ditch a card afterwards. But
and this is also really useful if you do the Levi Squad deck, because the climax combo from that summons the other pieces from the waiting room. So
yeah, you can milk your deck.
So it's really cool. Just kind of want to just throw that out there real quick. But Bentley, I'll let you get the next one, the Until Death Levi.
All right. This is a rare 1/0 3500 power Levi until death. When it attacks, if you have another character of either Levi, Hanj, or Erwin in name, this gains 3k power for a turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has another ability when the battle point becomes reversed, you can basically loot, so you draw a card and you ditch a card from hand to hand.
That's a really good effect.
Yeah. You know what's weird? Like, usually you see this effect in like blue cards for Weiss, so it's like kind of weird that you see it in green. But I guess it's flavor.
This is true. I've seen that for actually like a lot of blue cards now that you mention it, across several sets. Yeah, that's it's kind of interesting. Bushi seems to be doing that. Like I've seen, what was it? As far as clock shooting, used to be like a green exclusive thing, and then there's Megumi from Konosuba that's red and ends up doing a clock shoot effect. Stuff like that.
Yeah, now salvage events are like any color, as we've seen with the mobility gear, and then also from Love Live Sunshine.
Mm-hmm. So they're trying to vary it up and not have it stick to a single color anymore, it seems. So it's kind of good for like the variety there. So and you're almost guaranteed, like especially depending on the how you're setting up the deck, you're almost guaranteed to get this buff. So essentially a 1065. So really cool. So that's good. And then the next rare is To Seize Freedom Levi, and Frank, I'll let you get this one, bro.
Yep. All right, so here we go. So the To Seize Freedom Levi, first effect is if you have 2 or more other core characters, which is pretty much all the time, it'll get 1,000 power. And then its climax combo is when the battle opponent becomes reversed, if Blade that cuts through despair is in your climax zone, and you have another core character, you can choose one core character in your waiting room and put it in the stock, and choose one of your characters, and it gets to 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. Yeah, so this is one of the other climax combos, one of the 1/0s in Volume 1. That's also really good. You know, you get more stock, and then you can choose. You can even choose itself to get the 2,000 power, and it gets really huge. Yeah, and that's not even including like the Irwin or the Hanji giving it a buff. So like it can almost potentially reach up to 10k by itself. So it's almost like a pseudo like Levi from like Volume 1 minus like the whole squad.
Yeah, because he ended up getting really huge with like character encore and everything. So yeah, that actually ended up being pretty freaking big.
The combo with this is a stock soul as well, so you're just building more stock.
Oh, for real? Damn, man, that's just across the board good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you give it to just himself, that ends up being 5/5, 7/5 before anything else. So just that global Hanji earlier is like just have a wall of 8Ks.
Pretty much, yeah.
For a series that wanted to had the theme of tearing down walls, these guys are certainly trying to build back up the walls really quick, right?
Pretty much.
Trump would be proud. What? No. Sorry, bad jokes. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I didn't realize that was a stock soul for the other one as well, or for this one. So that'll be really cool. To round out, this is actually uncommon. But this is also still pretty good. I think this is funny to be able to potentially win a game with this effect. But To Seize Freedom Irwin is a 1/1/5/5. For each of your other core characters, he gains 500 power, not 5,000. 500 power, so he could be essentially a 1-drop 7/5 if with a full field. Once again, that Hanji, you get another 8k, so even bigger. At the end of your turn, if this is in the front row, you can pay the cost, which is 1 stock and discarding a core character. If you do deal 1 damage to your opponent, it can be canceled. So that's just really cool. Like just to be able to do that at the very end. Sure, it has to be in your front row, but that's kind of whatever to me. Just the extra burn damage there, the extra little bit of not so much hand fixing because you do have to pitch a core character. It would be better if you could like pitch extra climaxes personally. Especially if you end up having the ones that's like the gold bars and whatnot, and just they stick in hand and just Mother Rosario everywhere. Just throwing that out there. So this is still really cool. It's just an uncommon that we felt like needed to be mentioned. Plus Irwin, shout outs, bro, if anyone's not read the manga far enough yet. Just saying. Any other ones you wanted to put up real quick?
There's like another card I forgot that. Another card that's really good is it's a brainstormer. It's the Until Death Irwin.
Until Death Irwin. Am I okay? That's Levi. Okay, Until Death Irwin right here. So another brainstormer they end up getting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. He's on a horse. Charge, my mighty steed. Sorry, I shouldn't have yelled that. Your other character in the front row with Levi, Hanji, or Irwin. So it looks like you can make like a mono green deck with just Levi, Hanji, and Irwin. Gets +1 level and 1,000 power. Shoutouts to Sleeping Knights from SAO. So the brainstorm is pay 1, rest 2, mill 4 for every climax. Search for a core character. Add your hand and shuffle. So
yeah, it's literally Sleeping Knights, but it has more.
Literally.
Targets.
Oh wow. Yeah, it has ends up having more targets because Sleeping Knights only does Asuna and Yuki, or Asuna or Yuki. So damn, actually that is Sleeping Knights. Oh shit.
Yep.
They said we haven't put these exact card effects on enough cards.
Yeah.
So that +1 level, fuck your reversers.
Yeah, bro.
Yep. No more Levi squad. It's just Irwin squad now.
There you go. Of course he's taking command of the squad with his mighty steed. I know, I just need to quit yelling that. I'm sorry.
Petra. She didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, R.I.P. Petra. I'm sorry. I remember that scene so vividly. That was just... I didn't care like too much for the characters at that point, but just what happened with them. Just if you haven't watched season 1, go fucking watch it and just the whole squad, bruh. Okay, so that's good, most definitely. We're about at our time limit as far as for this podcast. One of the things I actually was. What's up?
There's one part that I want to bring out. Oh, I don't know if it's actually on here yet.
Was it?
For promo. But there's a 2-1 promo, an Aaron promo that's basically I think it's 3k power, a 3k backup, and you give one of your characters, the battling characters, a memory kit. So that card's pretty good as well. So you don't have to run Titan's power anymore. It's like a searchable Titan's power basically.
Chibi Aaron.
I don't think it's on the Heart of the Cards thing yet, but it's been spoiled already though.
Okay, cool. That new Chibi Colossal Titan, yo. That's a good point, because Titan's Power is one of those ones that people were talking about running because of Switch combo.
Yeah.
That's another thing there. Granted, that's still perfectly fine. Like, if anybody still wants to run that one, that's cool. But it's basically what another promo Bushi put out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like the shop promo or something.
Oh, cool. So, I wonder if that's for, like, the shop challenges.
No, I think it's just like a monthly promo, like, that you get from your shop.
Yeah, it's a tournament promo.
Okay, I have to check then. I don't remember seeing... I remember seeing an Aaron promo. I didn't know that's what it did. Okay, cool. That'll be really cool in the end. But like this booster coming out was actually one of the things I was trying to take into consideration for the regionals. Because I realized, this other AoT set will already be out by the time I'm able to go to the regionals. So this is something I was trying to take into account. So I'll probably see AoT in mass when we go there, or when I go there.
Someone posted like in Australia, like their regionals or whatever, their English regionals, and like it was mostly filled with like AoT and SAO.
SAO still running rampant, so yeah. Which that's actually one thing I wanted to just say real quick before we ended, which was unless anybody else had anything to say, but let me go ahead and say this. I know some people got upset over the regional location getting changed, and I do not blame anyone who still gets upset for having to cancel hotel rooms and whatnot and cancel flights. I know a couple of people from the podcast group that actually ended up impacting quite a bit. Luckily they got their refunds. But when people are like, oh, Bushiroad totally just trying to screw us over on this, and I'm like, the fucking place, Florida got hit by a fucking hurricane. like, I believe they have a pass on this one as far as changing
Mhm.
regional locations. I know that Bushi does shit on the Weiss community a lot, sure, but I'm not gonna blame him for this one. I mean, when Mother Nature decides you ain't gonna play our card games here, I'm gonna go where the fuck else we need to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, that's just something I want to throw out there. I actually don't blame Bushi for this, but a lot of people seem to blame Bushi, like for Bushi trying to screw us over, changing locations at the last second. Sure, they probably should have announced it sooner, but the fact that they had to change locations, I'm not gonna blame them. So sorry. Anything else anybody wanted to throw out here for as far as like other cards or other things we just saw as far as closing thoughts? Next week we're going to be trying to do red and blue, but other than that,
I think one of my closing thoughts so far, just like for this set in general, is just like I think this set definitely like boosted it up, especially in English meta.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people were afraid of, what is this set gonna bring? Like before spoilers, really did help set a lot of the issues from the first set.
You bleeped out there for a second, Bentley. It So
I was just saying I feel like this set like really helped a lot from like the previous set. Like it helped with some of the issues.
Okay. Yeah, Skype burped for a second there, and it was I couldn't hear what you had said. So no, I'm in agreement with you. Like this is definitely a very nice boost to, even though it's a set that has seen. I mean, hell, AoT won Worlds last year, if I'm not, or as far as like the last Worlds that occurred. So I'm not saying that this was like super needed, but it still got some very nice stuff. So,
and especially it helped like all the colors for the series as well.
Yeah, especially after multiple regionals, after SAO re-edit has been almost nothing but SAO for like top 8. Well, there was that one that was like 6 of the top 8 was nothing but SAO. So
yeah,
I'm hoping to see it become more diverse. So.
All right.
Give us European fleet for Kantai. I'm just kidding. What? No. But also, Frank, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would say Beanley hit it right on, hit the nail on the head, and yeah, it's definitely just a huge help with just the deck itself. We got a lot of effects that that other sets had that this set didn't have. Definitely a lot of unique Conrax combos and like abilities that definitely give AoT an edge. Specifically, my boy Aaron getting that level 1-0 combo, which is like so much value. And yeah, and I also do like the fact that now it's like we're not like stuck with just like we're stuck with just 2 builds. Now you have like so much different diversity in terms of like builds now, especially with core. Like you're not just stuck with doing 3 colors. Now you can do red, yellow, which is what I'm doing. You can do mono green. You can do basically like mono Aaron Titan build. It's so much more variation now. You can do just a lot more with Volume 2 now, as opposed to Volume 1 being stuck with just being like almost like 2 routes essentially. Yeah,
like it was constantly like 3-color builds or some kind of 2-color primarily Mikasa or something like that. Like like I said, for Worlds with AoT, I want to say it was primarily like a Mikasa build. I could be incorrect on that. I'm just trying to remember how this.
Yeah, they played a red-yellow build essentially.
Shoutouts to Strictly Broken, right? I think that was UA that won that, right?
UA.
It was UA. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, am I remembering this correctly? So yeah, okay, cool. But yes, with that, we'll go ahead and I know as far as like time, we need to go ahead and get bouncing off here. Thank you all very much for listening. Like I said, we're going to be trying to do the next set of colors in the next one as far as like part 2, and then shortly then the week after that will be as far as what all our experience was, as mine and anybody else as far as like from the group that went to that's going to regionals. As far as our experience of actually going to regionals and whatnot, and my shop challenge is coming up this weekend, so I'll let y'all know how that went. But thank y'all very much for listening. It'd be much appreciated if y'all subscribed. If y'all subscribe to Waifu Wars, and if Frank ends up somehow having a YouTube channel, I'll plug it eventually. So, but yeah, for now, this is Kool-Aid signing out with Waifu Wars.
Bye.
And Frank.
Aaron Value.
And we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.